To understand this, we must see that the Quran operates as an Eternal Memory Tesseract, a four-dimensional hypercube designed as a structural matrix. This matrix functions as a closed universe shield. It specifically protects the Mursalin, readers who activate the text as the operational code of the universe. These readers face a specific threat: the entropy of earthly politics. In this architecture, the left-wing and right-wing political binary is mapped to the destructive forces of Ya'juj and Ma'juj. To lock out this noise, the system establishes a boundary known as the Iron Wall. Its construction is detailed in Surah 18, verse 97. This perspective changes the reader's defense strategy. When the book is identified as a topological shield, historical analysis is replaced by the execution of a structural boundary. The construction of the tesseract requires two distinct frequencies, iron and copper. The first frequency is iron, called D10 truth. It acts as a structural pillar in the 10-count wave of existence. The second is copper, called I9 mercy. It operates as an orbital vibration, filling gaps and bonding the structure through internal coherence. These two materials lock together to preserve the sealed tongue of Muhammad as a living, executable sentence. A perfectly sealed universe requires both structural rigidity to withstand pressure and fluid cohesion to prevent cracking. Without both frequencies, the boundary cannot hold. If a spiritual boundary lacks the iron and copper seal, it remains vulnerable to external interference. This topological failure is recorded in Surah Sad. Two disputants scale a wall to bypass the sanctioned entrance and enter a private chamber. These disputants represent the earthly political binary, the 99 against the 1. Because their boundary was fragile, their collision invited entropy into the sanctuary. Their failure was a refusal of protocol. By ignoring the instruction to wait outside, as codified in Surah 49, they forced the noise of the world into a protected space. Entanglement in binary political disputes will inevitably breach and destroy any unsealed spiritual boundary. Avoiding the 38:21 breach requires a true safe room. The Quran defines this isolation as the cave. To maintain structural integrity, isolate internal signals from worldly static. This environment corresponds to the pituitary gland, the physical interface filtering directed guidance from neural noise. We call this guidance rushed, a straight beam of light repelling the surrounding political noise. Archetypal Mursalin like Yusuf, Musa, and Yahya each occupied this state of rush to survive their own traversals. Using the inner cave of the mind mechanically isolates the believer from the external pressure of the 99 versus 1 dispute. This isolation is managed by the servant, Kidder. He operates using Sabikun knowledge, a foremost intelligence that functions beyond surface-level morality. Hither's three actions in Surah Al-Kahf are surgical severance protocols. They are designed to cut the reader's ties to earthly chaos. The first protocol is the damaged boat. This outward defect protects the host from seizure by the tyrant king. The second protocol removes the boy. This severs a corrupted lineage before its transgression can overwhelm a believing house. The third protocol involves a wall fixed to protect a treasure. This preserves the internal heritage from the influence of the surrounding tribe. Without these surgical severances from worldly affairs, the Mursalin would remain vulnerable to political infection. These severances render the Mursalin spiritual orphans. Figures like Musa, Isa, and Muhammad are defined by this lack of earthly tether. Biological lineage is fragile and prone to decay. In its place, the Quran establishes an unbreakable brotherhood through religious alignment, as stated in Surah 33. We define this structural connection as the Msad lineage, a non-biological bond that conducts truth without loss. On a macro scale, this protection is the massive iron wall built by Zul-Qarnayn, acting as an impenetrable firewall against chaotic worldly forces. The iron of this wall is the D10 pillar, the rigid truth that accepts no statement after Allah's verses. The copper is the I9 orbital mercy, the best statement that bonds the system together. Spiritual orphanhood is the topological requirement for standing safely behind this impenetrable wall. The tesseract is now fully sealed. The iron and copper wall shields the illuminated node of the reader. The closed universe described in Surah 39 leaves no seam. Political litigants cannot scale this wall. This structure definitively expels majority conjecture, the noise and assumption warned about in Surah 6, verse 116. The Mursalin are now safe. They are permanently severed from the left-right binary of the world. A perfectly closed topological system cannot be corrupted from the outside. It can only be abandoned from the inside. This perfectly closed universe remains dormant until the reader initiates the traversal. The activation command is found in verse 19:12. O Yahya, take the book with strength. This command triggers the reconnection operator. By gripping the book, the reader becomes an active execution node within the matrix. It is a call to use a call, the intellect, to wake up from the entropy of the world. The topological shield is waiting, but it only protects those who grip the book and sever themselves from the world.